Well, hi everybody. This is Kim coming to you from New Bedford. Finally got home from Florida, where I've been marooned for the last 9 months, and I'm back to my kitchen. So today, I'd like to offer you one of my favorite meals of all time, which was taught to me how to be made by my dad and my Uncle Truman, which for years they made them. We used to live in a big farm with like 8 acres of land, and we'd invite 30 or 40 or 50 people over to have a good old-fashioned New England clamboil with lobster. So this is quite a spectacular meal. And for those of you from Florida who watch this, or those of you who just aren't from New England, you're going to get to see a clamboil made the way it's supposed to be made, the way my dad made it. Many ingredients involved here, which I'll go through. But the most important ingredient at my age is this one. Because I don't want to drop any hair into the meal that I'm about to make. So this is a two-part meal. We're going to be doing a clam boil and we're going to be doing a lobster boil. Can't do them together because there's different flavors and seasonings involved. The first thing you've got to start with are the sauces or the gravies or the molhos, as we say in Portuguese. So we have two pans here, as you can see. One is for the clams and the bigger one here is for the lobsters. So the first thing we're going to do is get these molhos, as we say, ready. So let me grab a hot mitt because these are already boiling. There's about a gallon of water in each one. And this is going to be the lobster one. This one, oh boy, that's steamy, huh? This one utilizes, there's turmeric, bay leaf, onion powder, salt, a little bit of red chili pepper, some bay leaf. I already said bay leaf, I mean Old Bay. And we're basically making a very salty sea-type brine with a little bit of pepper in it. Oh, also there's a sazon goya, which gives it, going to give the lobster a little nicer color. And normally, I'd put a couple of slices of fresh lemon in there, but I don't have any, so we're just going to put a couple of squirts of real lemon juice in there. And we're going to let that work. I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit. And now we move on to the clams. The clams also are the most important thing is their broth. So for the clams, it's a similar type seasoning mix. The difference here is we've got salt, white pepper, turmeric, saffron, bay leaf, onion powder, about 6 or 7 tablespoons of salt because we're making a salt brine. But here's where we mix it up. The hotter you can get, the better. This is Scotch bonnet sauce. This thing's probably about 2 clicks north of 100,000 Scovilles. I don't put much in here because this stuff packs quite a kick. But you want your clam broth to really be peppery because it's going to make the whole thing just taste better. Okay, so we've got that going. We're going to cover this because we've got to get these infused with all these beautiful flavors from these spices. And now let's bring on the star of the show. We're going to start with our little friend Larry the Lobsters. And for those of you who live in Florida and think Caribbean spiny lobsters are good, you ain't lived till you've had a Maine cold water lobster. So there's 3 pound and a quarter, as we call them, chicken lobsters waiting to be mercifully killed. And now we'll move on to the ingredients of the clam boil. Obviously, first thing are clams. Clams, for us, are soft shell clams. They're dug by hand with rakes right off the coast of New England, New Bedford as a matter of fact. And they're sold, they used to be sold by quarts. A quart of clams per person was the average. Now they're sold by the pound. 2 pounds of these clams equal 1 quart. They range in size from tiny to real huge. These are middle-sized ones because of the season. But I've washed these in water 3 or 4 times to let them spit out any sand they had in them. Because the sand clam is bad clam. You want them to taste really good. So clams are the base of the whole thing. Oh, by the way, here is the other half of this thing. This is the pot with the little bottom on it that lets all the steam from the water come up through. And everything, all the magic's going to happen right inside here. So along with the clams comes all the good stuff. And we've got some corn on the cob, which we know it's good at this time of the year. And our proteins. Our proteins and starches. We've got a couple of potatoes which I've cut up and parboiled because they're going to be take a while to cook. And 4 onions. Everybody loves onions, so we take some onions and peel them, and I parboil them about 15 to 20 minutes. Then on the proteins, we've got 6 fresh hot dogs. Oh, I don't know, about 10 sausages, because my wife and I love sausages. And this is a Portuguese smoked sausage. For those of you who've never heard of it, it's called linguiça. And linguiça is a spicy sausage. It comes in different varieties. I'll show you what it looks like when you buy it. This is homemade linguiça I bought from, this is from Amaral's Market. This is hot, but it comes in big, long, like you'd see a Polish sausage being made, and you cut it into pieces. It steams up pretty good and absolutely adds the most incredible flavor to this whole mix. And then something that most people don't get in a clamboil, and this is something unique to us, is fresh New England cod. This is fish, and it's the most delicious fish in the world. Now I've done, there's 4 good pieces here that go with this meal. Believe it or not, this meal is for 2, my wife and I, which is like saying it's for 7, but I've wrapped 3 of them in little packets, but I'm going to show you how I do this. I left one out for you. Basically, I take the paper bag that the fish comes in, and let me put my camera down over here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and pour some olive oil right on the bag and saturate it. I'm going to get it all covered with oil, and that'll go through both sides. Then we'll take a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we'll take a little bit of salt and hit this side of the fish and this side of the fish. I'm going to lay it like so. And then we take the paper, which is completely covered in olive oil. We'll cover the fish this way. Then we'll wrap this up. It's kind of like making a burrito, I guess, Portuguese burrito. And then wrap it this way. Fold these over. And you take your little flap this way. Just grab an elastic band to hold it all together. And this is going to go in the pile with everything else. Now, the critical thing to all of this is the order in which you assemble everything. So we're going to start with our steamer pan, which you can see has a lot of holes in it that all the steam from the water is going to come up in. And we're going to build it by putting the clams first. So the clams go in the bottom. Then the next thing we put are the starches and the onions, because they take quite a while to cook. And now we're going to put the linguiça, kind of mix it around here, give it a lot of spice and flavor. And then we're going to wait on the hot dogs and the sausage because they cook quite quickly. But I am going to put the fish packets in, and I am going to put the corn in. Like so. And now here's where my Uncle Truman came up with an idea years ago, that after all this is done and it looks delicious, he would grab a packet of Lipton onion soup and pour it all over the top, because there's going to be some basting going on here. So you're not going to believe how this goes. So now we take this bucket, hold on, let me grab this, bring it over to the stove, take off our cover. She's good and ready. And we drop it right on there. And we put the cover on. And now, as you can see, we've got a little packet. Clam broth with a little tap. See that little spigot? That's going to come into play in a minute. And the steamers and everything on top. But we've left the hot dogs and the sausages behind, because they cook much quicker, like I said. Okay, next comes our little friend Larry the Lobster. They take a lot less time, only about 8 to 10 minutes, but let's go grab, well, let me take the cover off you. I'm going to take them off one at a time. And like I say, you folks down south who think you've got great lobster, you haven't lived till you've had one of these puppies. So we drop that in the water, and this is quite a show. There's a million stories about the way you're supposed to do this humanely, but pretty much they're dying either way. So they're dying and we're living to enjoy it. So there they go, they're covered. And we will set our timer for these guys. Let's give them 10 minutes. 10 minutes it is. The clam boil will take about 20 minutes. However, at about 17 or 18 minutes is when I put in the hot dogs and everything should come out together at the same time, because when the lobsters are done, we then let them steep or sit in the liquid. So that's where we're at right now. This is all, by the way, derived, like I said, my dad had his own cookbooks that he wrote over the years, and I've been doing them as such, but I do miss my father and his cooking and his recipes. But so hang in there, and we'll come back as soon as everything is done and ready to serve, and I'll show you what this beautiful, beautiful dinner looks like. Thanks. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes into this boil, and one of the most important things that I didn't show you that's so critical is basting this meal. So we're going to turn on our broth here, and here it comes. And let me tell you, this stuff's like lava because of the Scotch bonnet. So we're going to pull out a big pan full. And our lobsters are pretty much done too. I'm going to shut those off. I can't do this all with one hand, so we'll let that go a little bit. Let me shut that down. Okay, and I'm just going to take this and pour it in. And oh, one of the other ingredients I forgot to mention is very important, is beer. You got to put a little bit of beer in here too. Okay, so we're going to let that keep going. It's not too hot out. Okay, I believe our lobsters are finished. Let's take a look at them, see what they look like. Oh, isn't that pretty? So now we're just going to let those sit, and they're going to soak in all that beautiful moule or liquid. Let me move them around a little bit. See that? The Saison Goya that I put in there gives them a nice bright, oh man, a nice bright red taste. Look at that. You ain't getting that in Florida, honey. No way. You couple that with a little of that, and let me tell you, you've died and gone to heaven. So we're going to let the lobsters sit, and we're going to give the Clamboil another 10 more minutes. And at 10 minutes, I'm going to pop the hot dogs in, and we're going to call this meal done. So we'll be back just a bit. Okay, so our timer just went off, and we're going to put the meat in, which is basically 6 hot dogs and 10 sausages. So how are we looking in here? Oh, isn't that pretty? We know the lobsters are done, so I'm just going to drop these puppies right in here, any way they can fit. I want to keep as much of this steam in here as we can. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. Okay, let's close it up. How are we looking in there? Resting up, boys? Good. They're just sucking up all that liquid. So I got to do another baste here, and we should be ready to serve in about 5 minutes. As soon as those hot dogs cook, they don't take long. Be right back. Okay, we're pretty close to serve time, but I want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, I couldn't understand why I don't have that many viewers on my YouTube channel, because I have some pretty good content. If you look back at some of them, they're pretty cool. They're pretty funny. Because I found out you're supposed to press like, and you're supposed to give it a thumbs up, and you're supposed to subscribe. I don't know any of that shit. Stupid. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more, like they say, smash that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I like to do cooking videos, and usually they're a little far-fetched. And if you do so, here's what'll happen. I have got, since I've come back from Florida, propagated a whole bunch of spider plants. They just grew like crazy while I was gone. So if you'd like a free spider plant, just drop a comment below, and I will gladly put some roots in a little baby spiderette and put it in my driveway. You come by and pick it up. It's all yours. So that's that. There's something else I was going to say. I'm still quarantining here in Massachusetts because I've only been home for 8 days. But fortunately, I was able to get all this food from a very good and close, I'm blessed with neighbor who asked me what I wanted. I gave him a list, and he went out to 2 Portuguese markets and got it all for me and left it in my driveway. So I'm very blessed in that respect. I hope you all have good neighbors too. Good things come to good people. So let's start with the lobsters. Let's see what we look like here. And we are looking kind of pretty. So let's bring over a plate. Let's grab my tongs. And we're just going to put these guys to cool off a little bit because they are hot. Again, people from around here or people that know me know that there's nothing better than a Maine lobster. Nothing. I don't care who you are or what you are. Now, let's take a look at our little oh, look at that. I think they're pretty much done. I think they're pretty much done. So give me 1 second and we're going to get ready to put all this and serve it. Hang on. Okay, well, everything is out and ready to serve. And this is what a Portuguese clamboil with lobster looks like. Oh my God, tell me this isn't awesome. Look at those clams. Of course, you've got to serve it with fresh broth. And oh my God, how could I forget the second star of the show? We'll do it this way. Because you got to have something to dip your clams in, which all you New Englanders know about that. So a little melted butter. And we're ready to serve. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Enjoy the video. And again, if you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up and like it. All of that stuff. Now it's time to enjoy our dinner. Amen.